And for Off the Block, I'm Vinny Limpson. We are now joined by George Mason, men's volleyball head coach Jay Hosack, after his team had an impressive 3-game victory tonight against Penn State. And, Coach, big home win for your team. How would you assess your team's play?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I think we just executed the game plan perfectly. And the challenge was that we didn't really know who was going to be on the other side of the net. Penn State, along with us and a handful of other teams around the country, we're all kind of dealing with the injury bug right now. And so we kind of went out there and said, hey, we really don't care who's on the other side. We just want to execute on our side. And so our guys have been working really, really hard this year. And this last week was a rough week for us. And we kind of grinded it out and came in tonight and played loose and had fun. And that's really the name of the game.
And, Coach, I want to ask you, Sam Greensdale obviously had a big night offensively, double-digit kills, hit about 300, but offensively as well in the passing game, really seemed to be able to help keep your offense in rhythm. Can you just talk about his play on both the passing front and the attack front? Yeah,
Sam has worked really hard at improving his passing game. He knew that in the last couple of years was going to be a challenge, and he wants to be on the court. And the way that outside hitters get on the court and stay on the court is being able to pass well. And so, Sam is one of the best servers in the country, so obviously he's got that going for him. And, attack-wise, he's been kind of hit or miss this year, but he's just done a real nice job of being steady for us and being a good team guy. And you really feel good for a kid who's been working so hard and then finally gets to see the fruit of his labor on some other fronts. So super happy for Sam tonight.
Yeah. And with that being said, obviously good passing can lead to, some big numbers for your middles. Jack Reese once again put up some big offensive numbers. Can you just talk about his play this season and how important that is to get him involved in the offense?
Yeah, when you pass well, you've got all your options, and we are one of those teams that has some effective middles. If we can get them a pass, we like to be able to run through that. But it just takes the pressure off the pins when your middles are doing well, and when they finally do get set on the outsides, and then those guys get a little bit more of a one-on-one opportunity. But Jack's still young, and that's the best part about it. He's a redshirt sophomore, and he's got a real bright future, and these kind of matches are going to be real beneficial for him in the future because he can do well in big pressure environments, and tonight was definitely a big environment.
Yeah. And, Coach, I want to ask, kind of look at the broad, big picture. Obviously a win against Penn State is a good achievement, but you kind of look at the way you've grown this program. Maybe 5 years ago you had players storm in the court after you beat Penn State, and now it's become the expectation that you guys can hang with them. Can you kind of just talk about the growth of the program and what it means, where it's now kind of the expectation that you guys can win these or going to win these matches?
Yeah, that's a really good point, Vinny. The fact remains is, Penn State has been the big dog on the East Coast for so long, and rightfully so. I mean, Pat is so highly respected, and I'm so lucky that I got to work with him for a handful of years and just see how he runs the program. But the other reality is that it's not necessarily that Penn State's doing anything wrong, but the administrations for the other schools are really starting to step up their game. And when I got the job at George Mason, one of the things we wanted to talk about was we wanted to change the culture to become the other big dog on the East Coast and eventually become the big dog on the East Coast. And that's a ways off, but I think we're starting to assert ourselves, and I think the rest of the country is starting to take notice, and we're proud of that work. And our guys come in, they have a chip on their shoulder, and they say, hey, well, we know that everybody knows about Penn State, but we want to put Mason on the map, and we want to let people know that we're here to compete, and we're here to get dirty and get after it. And these kids are working their butts off, and the fruits of their labor has been a conference championship 2 years ago and winning the hosting rights last year. We feel now that this is the way that it should be. This is what we do. These aren't upsets. And people were asking us at the beginning of the year when we beat Ohio State, this is a big upset. I said, no, it's not an upset. This is what we train to do. This is what we're here for. And beating Penn State may look like an upset to the average fan, but to the people that actually know, they know now that that's not an upset. And I'm real proud of the fact that the EIDA is stepping up as a whole. And all these coaches now, this is the first time in EIDA history that every head coach in the EIDA is full-time. And that's huge. And for some people, they may think, oh, that's not that big of a deal. Well, no, it's actually a huge deal. This now gives those coaches a chance to go out and recruit and put some time and energy into programs that they deserve. And, you're seeing a lot of teams now stepping up their game and starting to beat some other teams. So I'm super proud to be a part of a Class A conference like the EIDA. And Pav is one of my favorite people in the world. So, beating him is always fun, but I know Pav's super proud inside, too, that the EIVA is better as a whole.
Yeah. Well, Coach, two final questions before we let you go. Talking about support, you guys had a huge home crowd tonight. What were your thoughts of the home crowd that you were able to get out there and the people to see this match?
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. It's homecoming weekend, and so we had our alumni weekend this weekend. So everybody came in, fired up. And Penn State always sells out in our gym, and that's always a fun match to be a part of. And being able to do this kind of play this kind of a match in front of your home fans, in front of your alumni, and make them proud. That's always fun. And it's not every day that your university president comes to your matches. I don't know of any other schools where that's a commonplace, but our university president loves our sport. He comes in and watches our team play a lot, and our AD loves it. And, we wanted to create an atmosphere that was loud and ruckus and super home supportive, and I think we've done that. So it's a fun place to play, and I know visiting teams have a good time, and, we're just real happy that the RAC is what it is.
Right. And final question, Coach, before we let you go, we're kind of at that halfway point of the season, so I want to ask, I know you're excited with the way your team's playing, but I know you're a coach, so there's always room for improvement. What's maybe one or two things that you're hoping your team can improve upon in the second half of the season so you make it to the NCAA tournament?
Yeah, we got to do it all over again, obviously, in the conference, and then we got the playoffs. I'd say if there's one aspect of our game that I'd like to see us kind of improve upon, it's our transition game. We create a lot of opportunities. We dig a lot of balls. We slow a lot of balls down at the net, and I'd just like to see us become a little bit more crisp in our execution on transition. And so once we do that at a little bit of a higher clip, these games won't be so close, and we'll be able to stretch out the lead a little bit. But I think we're doing a good job now. We just got a little ways to go, and season's only halfway over, so there's a long road ahead of us.